green dotted with wild flowers, or crunching underfoot with ice and snow, and, unless there was a storm, he would do his kanlin exercises. No sword, then one sword, then both. He would look at the cold waters of the lake, with a small isle in the middle of it, then up at the surrounding, snow-draped, stupefying mountains piled upon each other. Beyond the northern peaks the land sloped downwards for hundreds of li towards the long dunes of the killing deserts, with the silk roads running around either side of them, bringing so much wealth to the court, to the Empire of Kitai, to his people. In winter he fed and watered his small shaggy horse in the shed built against his cabin. When the weather turned and the grass returned, he'd let the horse graze during the day. It was placid, wasn't about to run away. There was nowhere to run. After his exercises, he would try to let stillness enter into him, a shedding of the chaos of life, ambition and aspiration, to make himself worthy of this chosen labour. And then he would set to work burying the dead. He'd never, from first arrival here, made any effort to separate Khitan from Tagoran soldiers. They were tangled together, strewn or piled skulls and white bones, flesh gone to earth or to animals and carrion birds long since, or, for those of the most recent campaign, not so very long ago. It had been a triumph, that last conflict, though bitterly hard won. 40,000 dead in one battle, almost as many Khitan as Tagoran. His father had been in that war, a general, honoured afterwards with a proud title, left side commander of the pacified West, rewarded handsomely by the Son of Heaven for victory. A personal audience in the Hall of Brilliance in the Taming Palace when he returned back east, the purple sash presented, words of commendation spoken directly, a jade gift extended from the Emperor's hand, only one intermediary. His family were undeniably beneficiaries of what had happened by this lake. Tai's mother and second mother had burnt incense together, lit candles of thanksgiving to ancestors and gods. But for General Shen Tai, the memory of the fighting here had been, until he died 2 years ago, a source of pride and sorrow intermingled, marking him forever after. Too many men had lost their lives for a lake on the border of nowhere, one that would not, in the event, be held by either empire. The treaty that had followed, affirmed with elaborate exchanges and rituals, and, for the first time, a Khitan princess for the Tagoran king, had established as much. Hearing the number from that battle, 40,000 dead, Tai, when young, had been unable to even picture what it must have been like. That wasn't the case any more. The lake and meadow lay between lonely forts, watched by both empires from days away, to the south for Tagore, east for Kitai. It was always silent here now, save for the sound of wind, the crying of birds in season, and the ghosts. General Shen had spoken of sorrow and guilt only to his younger sons, never to the oldest. Such feelings in a commander could be seen as shameful, even treasonous, a denial of the Emperor's wisdom, ruling with a mandate of heaven, unfailing, unable to fail, or his throne and the empire would be at risk. But the thoughts had been spoken more than once after Shen Gao's retirement to the family property on their south-flowing stream near the Wai River, usually after wine, on a quiet day, with leaves or lotus blossoms falling in the water to drift downstream. And the memory of those words was the principal reason his second son was here for the mourning period instead of at home. You could argue that the general's quiet sadness had been wrong, misplaced, that the battle here had been in necessary defence of the empire. It was important to remember that it hadn't always been the armies of Kitai triumphing over the Tagorans. The kings of Tagore, on their distant, completely defended plateau, were hugely ambitious. Victory and savagery had gone both ways through 150 years of fighting by Kuala Nor beyond Iron Gate Pass, which was in itself as isolated a fortress as the empire knew. 1,000 miles of moonlight falling east of Iron.